dump divers in the WNBA are getting exactly what they wanted. The entitled players in the WNBA, the self-described anonymous stars, to go along with the recently eliminated Las Vegas anonymous faces. These jealous women, they are not only getting exactly what they wanted, they are getting exactly what they deserve. August 18th, 1998, a young man named Robert Ritchie, better known as Kid Rock, he released his fourth studio album titled Devil Without a Cause. Now, the album was a massive success, received diamond certification, selling over 11 million copies. Now, there were a lot of classics on that album, but one song that often gets overlooked in Kid Rock's catalog is Only God Knows Why. On an album filled with hard rock and in-your-face lyrics, Only God Knows Why, it was a change of pace. I guess you could call it a ballad. Towards the end, Kid Rock belts out the most powerful line in the song, possibly the most powerful lyric that he's ever written. He didn't know it at the time, but 26 years later, this line perfectly encapsulates the WNBA dump. You get what you put in, and people get what they deserve. Now, he sings it a little bit better than I do, but that simple line, it perfectly describes this false sense of entitlement in the WNBA. You see, what entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is, you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve. All season, you have complained about Caitlin Clark. All season, you have allowed your jealousy, your bitterness to cloud your judgment. All season, you have allowed your emotions to take over, which got in the way of what could have been an unbelievable year that set the foundation for the future of the WNBA. And now, everything you have put into the season, the jealousy, the bitterness, the constant victimization, relentlessly accusing Caitlin Clark fans of racism, complaining about the way the mainstream media covers your dump of a league. All that negativity, it has come back to haunt you, as ticket prices for the WNBA playoffs are damn near being given away for free. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Going into the sponsor for today's video. I was snacking on their stuff last night as I watched the Saints. I am no longer calling them my Saints. As I watched Denise Allen and Donnie Carr embarrass themselves on national television again, my good friends at Fluffernoggin. I am not a big snacker, but if there's one time of year where I do snack more than I normally do, it is during football season. One of my favorite snacks to eat while I'm watching NFL Red Zone is beef jerky. Problem is, a lot of beef jerky tastes like you were eating a flat tire. Good news is, I no longer have that problem because I started buying gourmet craft beef jerky from Fluffernoggin. Now, you're probably thinking, what the hell is a Fluffernoggin? Fluffernoggin is gourmet beef jerky that is made with 100% organic brisket right here in the USA. You don't have to worry about consuming foreign cows. These cows are homegrown. Each recipe from Fluffernoggin is handcrafted with the perfect amount of seasoning. It's the first beef jerky that I have ever tasted that literally melts in your mouth. No bullshit. It literally melts in your mouth. Fluffernoggin comes in a variety of flavors: mango habanero, Korean barbecue. They've even got a flavor called Carolina Reaper for those looking for some serious heat. Or if you're like me, you'll go with my newest favorite flavor, sea salt and honey pepper. Fluffernoggin is running a special right now where you can get 5 bags for $50 along with free shipping. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL at checkout and get your first 5 bags of Fluffernoggin today. A couple of weeks ago, when Caitlin Clark made her debut in the WNBA playoffs, her first opportunity to compete for access to the coveted golden toilet. Ticket prices were understandably expensive. If you wanted to sit in the nosebleeds, which in the WNBA, the nosebleeds, those are the seats at the top of the bleachers in the high school gym. If you wanted to sit in the cheap seats, tickets were going for around $100. Now, for any other major sporting event, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL maybe, $100 tickets, that would be considered a bargain. Hell, in most cases, $100 tickets do not exist. But in the WNBA, cheap seats going for $100, that is a sign of progress. The most expensive seats to see Caitlin Clark were selling for over $4,000. When she played Angel Reese in the regular season, average ticket was selling for $300. Normally, the Chicago Bravado, they'll let you in for free to see Angel Reese. It's kind of like the Southern Border. The Bravado, they open the gate and everyone is welcome. Yet, somehow, thousands of seats are still empty when Angel Reese plays. Strange. Caitlin Clark, though, she was eliminated by the Female Suns from Connecticut a couple of weeks ago. Right now, those same Female Suns, they are fighting hard against the Minnesota Linkers to secure their spot in the WNBA Finals. The Female Suns are tired of the porta potties. They are tired of bringing back buckets of water to the bathroom because Kat Engelbert can't afford to pay the water bill. The Female Suns are desperate for access to that prestigious bathroom with running water. With that being the case, with the Female Suns supposedly having big stars like DeJounte Carrington and other big stars like, big stars. You would think tickets for this exciting series would be expensive. That's how it normally works in the playoffs. Uncle KC has been to dozens and dozens of playoff games in the NFL and the NBA. First and second round in the NBA, everything from the wild card to the NFC Championship game in the NFL. As the team progresses through the playoffs, tickets get more and more expensive, which is why I was incredibly confused to see tickets at the Target Center in Minnesota selling for as low as $10. According to StubHub, seats that are damn near courtside, they're going for $65. You can sit directly behind the Female Suns bench for $60. As I was looking at tickets on StubHub this morning, I noticed that the upper bowls of the Target Center were unavailable. Target Center is an NBA arena, home of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Your typical NBA arena, it's got 3 bowls, the lower bowl, the club seats in the middle, and the upper bowl, or the nosebleeds. For some reason, tickets were only available for the lower bowl, and there were a lot of them available. I wonder why. Well, KC, that's because they've already sold out those other sections. This series is a huge draw for the WNBA. Oh, yeah? Well, I checked the last game they played in Minnesota. Less than 9,000 tickets were sold in an arena that seats almost 20,000. Now, this is pure speculation on my part, but I'm thinking the vast majority of the arena is unavailable because they're not offering tickets in those sections because they can't sell the damn seats in the lower bowl. Tonight is Game 5 between the Linkers and the Female Suns. Now, if this were the second round of the playoffs in the NBA, Game 5 would be broadcast on ESPN or TNT. It would be broadcast on a major network. Last I checked, ESPN was the proud home of pretend basketball. ESPN claims to be the proud home of women's sports. With that being the case, how come Game 5 of the Chase for the Golden Toilet is being broadcast on ESPN2? A game of this magnitude, it should be broadcast on ESPN, right? What was so important that ESPN chose to throw the irrelevant dump on an irrelevant network? The WNBA was moved off of ESPN because tonight is opening night in the NHL. Not Major League Baseball, not the playoffs. The WNBA wasn't moved for Monday Night Football or opening night in the NBA. ESPN moved the dump to ESPN2 because they know that a niche sport like the NHL gives them a better chance to draw an audience. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I reminded you guys about the prediction that I made before the season? Remember when Kat Engelbert approved chartered flights for players and I said eventually WNBA players would start complaining about their salaries? Last week, we saw a small glimpse of those complaints from a WNBA player in Seattle whose name I have already forgotten. She was going to play real basketball over in Europe because they are not paying her enough to play pretend basketball in the WNBA. Now, we have got an insider predicting a lockout this offseason. Now we have a sports insider claiming that entitled uninformed WNBA players, they will potentially forfeit next season because they're going to be too busy complaining about their minimum wage salaries. Joe Pompliano is a sports investor. Yesterday, he told his followers the same thing that Uncle KC has been telling you guys for months or years. Entitled WNBA players, they will complain about their minimum wage salaries while having no understanding as to how the charity of the WNBA actually works. And this could lead to an unskilled labor strike that could affect next season. Watch for yourself.
We're quickly headed towards a scenario where there's going to be a lockout in the WNBA. I think the players, they just have a much higher perception around their dollar value worth than the league is actually worth. Most people don't understand the dynamic between the NBA owning a large chunk of the business, the owners owning a large chunk of the revenue stream, and the players are out there every day. I mean, you just look at what was happening in that 60 Minutes interview. Aaliyah Boston said that she wants commas in her paycheck, $1 million+ essentially, right? And that's not happening anytime soon in the WNBA.
This is no longer just my opinion, which I have always told you was heavily biased because I hate this league. This is coming from a supposed expert. This is coming from someone who supposedly has contacts on the inside. This is going to be a brutal offseason for Kat Engelbert. She has already shown that she doesn't have the ability to stand up to these entitled players. Kat Engelbert has already shown her weakness by giving chartered flights that the WNBA can't afford. This offseason, Kat Engelbert is going to be stuck in a lose-lose. WNBA players will demand unreasonable raises to their minimum wage salaries. WNBA players could potentially demand salaries over $1 million a year, while the league can't afford to pay them what they are currently being paid. I will tell you this right now. Mark my words. I'm recording this at 11 o'clock Tuesday, October 8, 2024. Bookmark this prediction. If WNBA players go on strike, if next season is canceled, it will be the end of the WNBA in the mainstream. People will not give this league another chance. Major League Baseball went on strike in the mid-90s. They've never recovered. They temporarily recovered during the home run chase in 98, but the steroid scandal 10 years later ended any chance of a full recovery. But there is a huge difference, monumental difference, between Major League Baseball and the WNBA. Baseball already had a diehard fan base. Baseball already had a foundation. Even though they lost the casual fan, guys like me, baseball still has millions of diehard fans that are going to support them. WNBA does not have that luxury. There are no diehard fans in the WNBA. There's only casual fans. There are only fans of Caitlin Clark. Vast majority of players in this league are already disliked by a sizable portion of the population. If they go on strike over money, if they go on strike while people are struggling with inflation, struggling to put food on the table, it will be the end of the WNBA in the mainstream. Mark my words. Give me your thoughts on this. WNBA can't sell out playoff games with tickets being cheaper than a tank of gas. There could be a labor strike this offseason that could impact and possibly cancel next season in the WNBA. Would that be the end of this league in the mainstream? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkcgate4@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.